Okay, you can stop watching all of the other productivity videos out there right now because I'm going to teach you once and for all how to stop being lazy and unproductive by training your mind to love doing hard things and outsmart your brain so you can lock in without crashing out. It's actually quite easy to trick your brain into doing things with a simple shift in mindset, especially if your brain is constantly trying to sabotage your work. And I know that's exhausting. It's also exhausting to have to keep starting over again and again. And we need to remember that the mind is a great server but a terrible master. So show your brain who's boss. Being lazy or procrastinating is not a personality trait. That's not who you are. You're the kind of person who wants to fix this. So let's find your most productive self. You have probably tried to rely on motivation and it came and went and motivation failed you. Emotions also don't work because it goes up and down and you can't be led by your emotions. That's not productive. You will never feel like doing it and the perfect day is never going to come. You probably have heard about how discipline is everything, but if you lose interest in doing things quickly, then discipline is going to be tough. The mindset shift that made a lot of sense to me is to start with the end in mind. Imagine your future self hired you to finish this work or project. What will you have to do to get there? So learn to honor your future self by doing hard things now and it will thank you. You also don't have to do anything. You get to do things. You're so blessed to be able to get things done. And it took me so long to realize that the secret to getting things done is not about focusing on discipline. Discipline is actually just the result of your consistency, and consistency is built over time. And that is never just handed to you because doing it is hard, but not doing it is also hard. But the difference is you win if you do it and you lose if you don't do it. So it's actually easier to do the hard thing. So how do you learn to choose to do hard things and actually finish your task? The secret to becoming more productive is to get into the zone, and it's also known as the flow state, which everyone is capable of. For ADHD people, this is called hyperfocus, and it's a superpower if you do it right and a curse if you do it wrong. Because then you're like, well, I'm supposed to be finishing this project right now, but why am I doom scrolling all day or obsessing over a person or playing a video game or even just frozen up completely? First of all, you're not being lazy. That's a dysfunction. So if you have ADHD or you're depressed, or even if you're not, but it's still an issue, then we need to be very mindful about how we deal with our problems because a dysfunctional response to productivity can be caused by bad mental health management. How can we ever be productive if our minds aren't even functioning properly? But remember, just because you deal with difficulty doesn't mean that's who you are. That's not you either. Eventually, mental health definitely needs to be addressed, but the first thing you need to do is to turn flow state into the best thing that ever happened to you. And to get into it is to sit with yourself for a second and breathe and reset. It doesn't matter what happened to you this week. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life right now. None of that makes you who you are. And all of that matters right now is the one thing that you need to get done. And you're going to enjoy it. And when you're done, you're going to feel so accomplished. So now that you cleared out your thoughts for a bit, there are a few ways to force yourself into flow state. So here's how you incorporate flow. You don't need more self-control. You need a system. And I find that the easiest way to incorporate flow into your system is to make it extremely easy to start. If I need to work at my desk, for example, my office area is super clean and ready to go. I have my morning ritual done. I have my coffee. All I had to do is to turn on my laptop. The trick is you cannot make it overwhelming for you to start. If I want to go to the gym immediately without even contemplating it, I'm going to put my sneakers on. How can I then say no to going to the gym? Like, am I going to take my sneakers off? So don't let your mind become the boss of you. Meaning the second that you're supposed to do something, before it even starts coming at you and nagging at you, being like, oh, I don't feel like doing this. I'm tired, blah, blah, blah. Shut it up by being halfway into the action already. You can say, well, I'll complain later. This will only take 1 minute. Even if it ends up taking hours, don't even think about that. You'll get there later. For example, checking emails is going to take 1 minute. Looking at my to-do list is going to take 30 seconds. And none of these things are going anywhere without me. So learning to start up as quickly as possible and tackle small tasks first will clear up your brain clutter and help you get into the flow. And then you'll be able to do more. So what else can you do to get into the flow, but in a practical and productive way? Basically, you incorporate flow into your daily planner. This is the first thing you see when you start your day. This is the same thing that you update throughout the day as you get things done, and you use it to close out your day. For something that you use so often, you should make it look attractive so you keep coming back, especially if you're someone like me with ADHD. You need to build a system that works for you. For me, I need color coding, aesthetic, and a super easy to use interface because I don't have to focus to figure out a complicated platform, and it needs to be something as simple as drag and drop. So this is what what my daily planner looks like, and while I like writing things down with a pen, I can't always take this with me everywhere. And it also doesn't sync with my Google Calendar. And using all of these different color markers to code just feels like a lot. So I switched to using Excels for my daily planning, which is basically the same thing but fully digital and syncs so that I can write things down one time and see it everywhere. Excels is free to use and it's built for people who think visually, and it's also completely ADHD friendly and dopamine boosting. In every planner, there's also different layers for things like yearly planning, monthly projects, weekly errands, daily tasks, budgeting, for anything really. And if you don't want to build something from scratch, Excel has many beautiful pre-made templates to choose from, and it's customizable. You can drag and drop tiles, embed images and widgets, and add colors. If you want to add a task to the calendar, click on the calendar icon and connect your Google Calendar, and you'll automatically get notifications on your phone. So I customize my own planner to be as simple to execute as possible so that I can stay consistent. Then when you're done with the planner for the week, you can click on new page to start all over and reset, which is the handiest feature because I used to find it so annoying to uncheck all of my boxes and do a reset on my digital planner. But Excel makes it really easy to do that and keep an archive. Same thing if you want to create a dedicated project planner, whether it's for a YouTube channel or a group trip like the one that I'm planning for June in Greece with my community. You can create a dedicated space for that and also link your project to your monthly planner. Excel can be a personal knowledge base for recording all of your experiences, saving notes from books and YouTube videos, even articles, PDFs, links, and even image pins like what I've done with my vision board. The more you add, the more automated it gets. If you've ever tried other platforms like Notion and it felt overwhelming to start, then Excel is your easier visual alternative. It's simple, smart, synced, and way more fun to use. Ready to start executing without being overwhelmed? Try Excel today and your brain will thank you. And thank you to Excel for sponsoring this video. If you want a super easy hack to push yourself into doing things, this is what I call being chased by a bear. This is the way that many of us are familiar with actually, and it's a great hack that can help us finish something, but we cannot depend on this as a lifelong habit. Sometimes you can put things off until you realize that you're all alone, but because you procrastinated, the deadline is tomorrow. So now you're being chased by a bear. You realize that no one is coming to save you and that bear is not going away until you get rid of it. So nothing gets you going like the night right before something is due and you start to panic because it's not done yet. And if your brain thinks that you are in crisis, that puts you in fight or flight mode. And that deadline is doing nothing but inch closer and closer with every second. So now you have to do it. If you struggle to get started, panic will really get you started like nothing else will. I have to warn you that doing this in a pinch every once in a while is fine, but long term is not great. You don't want to put too much stress on yourself because this can really wreck your nervous system in the long run. We need our nervous systems to function and feel safe because if not, that can lead to burnout and also even more task avoidance because your mind can also build up tolerance to fight or flight response and actually get used to it. So do this sparingly or only do this while you build on everything else that I'm teaching you. Building momentum means you have to forget about all or nothing mindsets like what I mentioned with being chased by a bear and remove the pressure of being perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be good enough. You also don't need a ton of time. We all know that 10 minutes of high quality deep work is better than 5 hours of dilly-dallying and kind of doing work but kind of avoiding it. So stop torturing yourself and wasting time. By building this love for doing hard things into your life, you'll be more likely to repeat it. And the more you repeat it, the less effort it will take and your brain will get used to using less effort every time. So yeah, it does get easier the more you choose to do something hard. For example, my version of doing hard things could be very different from someone else who has never built consistency and always gives up. They will not have the same kind of tolerance for difficulty like I do. So the more you repeat an action, the more powerful you become. Motivation means nothing if you can't repeat it. I also never let myself have a day where I do absolutely nothing for my self-improvement ever. Momentum goes away just as quickly, so I need to make sure to at least do something even on the day off. Write one sentence on my journal, do one wall push-up, check one thing off my to-do list, do something, anything. Another way to reward yourself for repeating hard things is to celebrate yourself. We're so harsh for no reason. If you couldn't do one push-up a month ago and now you can do 2.5, that's 250% more push-ups. Even if it's the smallest thing, you showed up for yourself and improved, even though it's hard and uncomfortable. With every celebration of you completing something small, whether that's you drinking an extra glass of water when you hate drinking water or beating a personal record at the gym, you are confirming to your brain that you are more than capable of achieving achieving things, and that you are also capable of staying committed to something because you are. Another way is to delay your dopamine. Distractions are designed to keep you addicted. So playing the waiting game is a power move. You're doing the opposite of what your addictions tell you to do. And I always tell myself, I can relax later. I can have my snacks later. I need to get this thing done first so that I can have my reward. That way the reward becomes even better because you earned it. Delayed gratification is you playing the long game. Instant gratification is you borrowing from your future self. People who chase instant gratification all day long stay stuck. Just remember that every time you choose long-term success over instant comfort, you're buying back your control over your future. You're buying back your life. Your brain actually learns to associate pleasure with effort, so the ability to do something like wait for dessert at the end of the meal is actually what separates people who can become successful from people who settle for instant gratification. If you let yourself scroll on your phone after avoiding work, your brain not only thinks that it's already done doing hard work, it also links that avoidance with pleasure. So switch it around and work for half an hour, then intentionally reward yourself. Teach your brain that effort always comes first and the dessert always has to come later. Maintaining vibe hygiene is super important if you want to become productive. So you need to curate your vibe around you. So what do I mean by this? That's when you design your environment to support everything that you want to do. Become aware of everything that you're surrounding yourself with. Your environment affects 90% of the choices that you end up making. So are you listening to the news every day and it bums you out? Are you easily rage baited and spend hours of your time arguing with people online? Or are you curating your social media feeds and podcast playlists with people who you want to be like? People who can show you how to stay focused and consistent rather than people who distract you or worse, manipulate your feelings for your engagement. We need to minimize hearing about things or following people who can burn us out and distract us. And similarly, is your room a mess? Is your house a mess? Are you a mess? Not only are you not letting energy flow to you when everything is messy, every time you see clutter, it actually makes us more stressed out. And then over time, this puts a lot of unnecessary workload on your nervous system. I always take a bit of time daily to do things like make the bed, put things away, clean my surfaces, and then do a deep clean weekly because over time, this matters. A clean house is a clean mind. Same with media distractions, deleting your apps when you need to go all in on something. Same goes for keeping junk food away from the house. I want you to collect information about yourself, maybe with the daily planner, and turn all of your efforts into pure data, even if it's a failure. What did you do today that worked for you and what didn't work? If you struggle, that's a good thing. That means that you're learning. You don't ever fail at something. It's all a teaching lesson, and everything's already difficult when you just start out, and it gets easier as you go because you're collecting experience, you're collecting skill sets, and there's always a lesson in how you can do better tomorrow. You don't need the extra pressure of thinking that you're already bad at it. If you start something new, you have no experience, you have no skill, because these things take time and action to build. So of course you're going to be bad at it. It's almost like you need to expect that. The people who eventually win in life actually fail so many more times than people who don't even try. That means the people who don't even try are actually the big losers, meaning people who don't try at anything and just assume that they're a failure. They're right, they're failures. You are already ahead by trying, so don't feel bad about it. Instead, objectively learn to study yourself and know what you're good at, know what you're not so good at, and then adjust accordingly and try something else. Shame and guilt for failing makes us even more task avoidant because think about animals, for example. We train our pets to behave with water sprays so they will avoid doing what they're not supposed to do. We kind of have animal brains too, so if we punish ourselves, we will naturally want to avoid doing it. So if anything, be very graceful and kind with yourself, then write down what happened, why it didn't work out, and then try again. If you're afraid of letting people down and you're a people pleaser by nature, well, usually that doesn't work out in your favor, but today it does. Use your people-pleasing tendencies to your advantage and surround yourself with hardworking people who are busy working on themselves. If there's people who know that you have to get something done, then that adds a bit of social pressure and accountability. Your body double can be anyone, friends, partners, family members, or even strangers. And this technique works virtually as well as it does in person. You can always body double with one person or in a group, so study groups are great, co-working spaces are great too. So I used to struggle with working out myself, so I went to the gym to attend group fitness classes, and the energy of everyone working out hard together automatically makes me want to try my best. So try try to surround yourself with people who can push you. The right environment is going to make you stronger. And stay around people who also challenge you, not people who don't care about you and keep you comfortable. If you don't have that kind of support, you can always find communities out there that have body doubling, or join my Discord community, because I know a lot of people on there do count on each other for support and also practice body doubling while they work. If you don't have anyone around, you can even body double with yourself by faking it. Pretend to be a YouTuber or a live streamer where you have 100 people watching you and you have to get it done. So incorporating rest is a really important point, and my last point that I want to drill into your head. Rest is very productive, and rest is a part of the productivity plan. If you don't incorporate rest into your productivity routine, your body will eventually find ways to force you to rest. So it's better for you to choose to rest while you have the choice. I'm reminding you because I'm personally learning to be better at resting too, and I'm always trying to be softer with myself, even when there's a lot of things to do, because that's what's going to help us reset our nervous system and become healthier in the long run. When I push myself too hard, I tend to fall sick or something strange happens, like my laptop died the other day while I was editing my video. I'm telling you, the universe is always watching us and looking out for us like that. So what else helps is being able to clearly label what tasks are time sensitive and what isn't, so that you can come back to it later, so that we know when we're done for the day. And when I rest, I like to just literally chill on the couch, watch TV or read a book, go to the sauna, take a bath, or go for a walk. It needs to be an activity that allows your mind to clear and reset in a different way than when you were using it for your productivity. Anyways, productive people who can master patience, consistency, and self-control will be the ones who end up with everything that they want. Whereas people who don't can only wish that they only have a fraction of what the productive people have. So I'm glad that you made it this far, and if you did, comment below. I am capable of becoming my most productive self. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. Thank you to X House for sponsoring, and I will see you in the next video.